I want to start at or continue at verse beautiful. So we've dealt with the trees. We've covered that. All right. I want to continue at 17. All right. And it reads, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. Now we covered that the knowledge of good and evil, the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, was the knowledge of wickedness. It wasn't a literal tree. All right. But it was the knowledge of wickedness, because at that time Adam only knew good. All right, verse 18 reads, and the Lord power said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. And out of the ground the Lord power formed every beast of the field and of every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him. And this shows you that Adam, all right, had dominion. All right. Adam had dominion. The Adamites were set up even in as a special people. All right. And Adam, this special Adam in particular, all right, was given dominion along with the Adamites under him. All right, so this shows you order, even in the garden, all right, before they were known as the Israelites. And this is why the inheritance still goes to them to this day, because the Lord chose a particular nation of people even back then. Because again, when you go to Ezekiel, the 31st chapter, trees don't get jealous. So when it says that the other trees envied him because he was more fair than them, it was talking about the other nations in the garden at that time. All right, so I want to continue to verse 21. All right, and the reason the Lord power caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. All right, now this is a very confusing topic for most people who look at the narrative, or who believe the narrative, or who have heard the narrative of Christianity. All right, but to sum this up, all right, Adam was not given anesthesia and one of his ribs was taken out of his body. All right. What happened was Adam was unaware of what the Lord had planned. And the Lord had Eve, who was customized for him. And now it doesn't mean basically, I'll put it this way. All right. She was already on the earth. All right. And the rib means that she was a part of his lineage. All right, because again, when you go to Genesis, the 5th chapter, there were many Adamites. And Eve was chosen in particular as a helpmeet for Adam. All right, because again, in the 1st chapter, male and female created he them. Men and women were already created. So this is parabolic. All right. Verse 22 reads, and the rib which the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. All right, so when you deal with this is basically Eve being given to Adam as a helpmeet, as a wife. All right, this is why Jake calls their woman ribs, all right, unto this day. All right, flesh of my flesh. These are sayings that even persist to this day. And it shows you that this book was for our people, by our people, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, because it says again, he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. All right, and the rib which the Lord power had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. So you have to understand that this was his rib, but she was already on the planet. All right. Because again, your family, even though you may have cousins, you may have uncles and distant aunties, and they'll consider themselves what? Flesh of my flesh. All right. As a matter of fact, let's get some examples. All right. I'm going to go to 2 Samuel chapter 5 and verse 1. And it reads, Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and spake, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. All right, so it doesn't mean that Eve was literally made out of a bone from Adam's rib. All right, well, basically a bone from Adam. That's not the case. What it's saying is that out of the Adamites, Eve was chosen as the woman out of the Adamites to be a mate to this special Adam of the Adamites. All right, and Lord willing, it's not too confusing. But again, this is something that our people say unto this day, you know, flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. These are things that our people mention all the time, even in passing. All right, it's something that used to be very popular back in the day, and it's still kind of popular even now. All right, this is First Chronicles chapter 11 and verse 1. All right, and it reads, Then all Israel gathered themselves to David unto Hebron, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. All right, when we go to Jacob and Laban first meeting Jacob, and we go down to verse 14, it reads, And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. All right, so this is basically similitudes when you deal with how this is being discussed as far as the rib, Eve being taken out of the rib of Adam. It's not literal surgery. All right, this is parabolic speech talking about the family of the Adamites and Eve being chosen out of that family to cater to Adam, this special Adam. All right, so when we go back to Genesis, 2nd chapter, and we continue, all right, verse 23 again reads, And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, and the man and his wife were not ashamed. Why? Because they only knew good. All right. But it shows you the definitions. It says adult female, literally woman, man, alteration, Withman, woman, female, servant. All right. So when you understand this in proper context, all right, Eve was made to be a servant unto Adam. And that's how the order is even unto this day. All right. And that's a whole nother topic. But I just want to touch that and cover that through the spirit. All right. Because again, when you deal with Genesis, there are a lot of things that are hard to be understood to the unlearned, and especially those who have been tainted by Christianity. All right. And I want to kind of take my time through the spirit and go through this chapter to break down some of the things that may have been confusing to people who are new to this understanding, all right, and who have been tainted by Christianity, all right, because a lot of things in Genesis have turned people off of the scriptures because of the terrible breakdowns that Christianity has pushed forth for decades, for centuries. All right, so now we have this understanding through the spirit, and it's being brought forth. All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.